Yo, what's going on? This is the NRW Nerds Rule the World. It's your boy, Kuya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange, and I have some homies of mine, New Release Wednesdays, Heather Hertz, and of course, the Blurred Dad, Glenn Lawrence. We're going to be talking all about Eternals, giving you our official review of the film. We're kind of late. The film was in theaters, but we've been busy. We have a lot of stuff to watch. So we're doing our review now. That's going to go along with the DVD release. We're getting Eternals on 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and DVD on February 15th. And right now, if you have Disney Plus, you can check out the film. So there you go for Eternals. But if you're like me and you want some added extras, if you're that hardcore of a fan, I got a breakdown that Disney sent over of the bonus features you're going to get with this film if you go pick it up when it hits on February 15th on Blu-ray, Ultra HD, and DVD. So I'm going to go over that real quick. Then we're going to throw it to the trailer, and then we're going to give you our review with Glenn and Heather. So the bonus features, what you can expect when you pick it up, because I know the super fans like myself love this type of stuff. So we have audio commentary. You get to watch the film with Chloe Zhao, the director, Stephanie Soretti, and Martin Larson, get their feedback, what they thought as they were making the films, putting together the shots. We also get the bonus feature of Immortalize. Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe launches into the cosmos with the Eternals. This is basically a BTS documentary, which will go into how they made this film. I love stuff like this. So I'm definitely going to be checking out Immortalized. In Walks of Life, another bonus feature, we get Eternals unveils Marvel's biggest and most diverse lineup of superheroes in one film. We get to hear reactions from the cast on being involved with the film and some of the camaraderie of working together on set. So a little bit more BTS with the Walks of Life. I'm going to have to check that one out because this cast is so amazing. I'd love to see how they all interacted while working on this film. We're also getting a gag reel. Some of the mishaps that happen when you're filming a film like this is bound to happen. You're not going to remember everything. And also you love to play around with each other. And again, with just this amazing cast, I would love to get my laugh on by checking out this gag reel. And now here's the coup de grace, which is what I love with bonus features. We're getting some deleted scenes. Some of the deleted scenes we're getting is Gravity. Phastos and Jack have a conversation that leads to a breakthrough. We get to see that. Nostalgia. Sprite and Makari reminisce about humankind while overlooking the ruins of Babylon. Curious about that one. Movies. Gilgamesh and Kingo connect over movies while crossing the Amazon River with the rest of the team. That sounds very cool. And Small Talk. Sprite confronts Dane in the museum about his interactions with Circe. So, if you're like me, you're curious why they cut this. Maybe it'll give away stuff later on. You know, there's these little nuggets sometimes that happen. So I'm very interested in that. So I know you're interested in what the NRW thinks about Eternals. Right now, I'm going to throw it to the trailer, and I'll be back with my buddies Heather Hertz and Glenn Lawrence to talk all about Eternals. So here we go to the trailer right now for Eternals.
5 years ago, Thanos erased half of the population of the universe. But the people of this planet brought everyone back with a snap of a finger. The sudden return of the population provided the necessary energy for the emergence to begin.
How long do we have?
7 days.
We're Eternals. We came here 7,000 years ago to protect humans from the deviants.
Why didn't you guys help fight Thanos? Or any war, all the other terrible things throughout history?
We were instructed not to interfere in any human conflicts unless deviants are involved.
By who?
We need to find the others.
I haven't seen some of them for centuries.
Hi.
Hello.
This is what the end of the world looks like. At least we have front row seats.
You know what's never saved the planet? Your sarcasm.
We've loved these people since the day we arrived. When you love something, you protect it.
You can't protect any of them.
I bet you've built the perfect safe house. I mean, what's this even made of? Vibranium?
Fall collection. IKEA.
Boom, there you go. That's the trailer for Eternals. And as you see, the lovely faces of my amazing friends over at the NRW. I have Heather, don't hurt him, Heather Hurt, and Blur Dad himself, Glenn Lawrence. How y'all doing today?
Okay.
Yeah, doing all right. Hope springs eternal.
Yeah.
So corny. I don't
Glenn
know.
out the gate. I love it. Heather, why don't we break down Eternals real quick and then we'll all talk about the film.
Okay, so Eternals, of course, it is. How can you not be excited about a series, a film from the Jack Kirby originals? So the Eternals are, spoiler if you haven't seen it, they are a set of sentient robots that were created by the by the Celestials. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on one second. They are the Eternals are a set of sentient androids that were created by the Celestials, and they've come to Earth to help us develop, to help us grow. And in what you see is in the film, we get a lot of very atypical names that we've heard throughout history: Cersei, Icarus, Thana. She is second cousins of Thanos. She's not Athena. She is Thana.
Clarification there for all y'all.
There you go.
She made it very clear at the end. And then, of course, you have characters like, who I'm very excited about. You have characters like Dane Whitman coming in, who we get to see really progress the series. Just to stay grounded at the beginning, they have been sent to Earth to not only help humans progress, but help protect us from the deviants, which we later find out was the original version of them. And they're here to stop the destruction, the absolute devastation that these deviants are spreading all throughout the universe. And through that, they help build some of the greatest cities that, of course, we have lost over time, through the thousands of years that they have been on this planet. At the point in which we actually truly start the film, that they have separated. They are a big happy family that has just shattered and broken, and they have separated. Our two main characters, our two main protagonists, of course, are Cersei and Sprite, who have been living kind of alone in the UK for a while, and we'll start there. We'll kind of start at the beginning. How did y'all feel about learning? Did y'all know anything about Eternals when y'all walked into the movie theater?
I did. You know what? Let me take it off of everybody. Let me make sure we can all be seen. There we go. I was familiar with Marvel stan, big time Marvel stan. The Kirby, Jack Kirby legend. You know, he gave us Eternals along with Whitley. Did he do it with Lee? Stan Lee create Eternals with Kirby?
I believe they are. I believe they are.
But
just
I know a lot of it.
They are Jack Kirby creation.
Think Jack Kirby. You know, I don't think he gets enough credit. You know, much respect to Stan Lee, but I want Jack Kirby's name to be mentioned a lot more in the conversation. Because just everything about the Power Cosmic, what he did with Silver Surfer, Galactus, just the visuals, Kirby bolts that Kirby, stuff in his art, but like Eternals had his name all over it with just that. And so that's my familiarity with when they made guest appearances. I don't know too much in depth with some of the characters that much. I did read some side, some single issues, a couple different miniseries here and there. But I went in with a healthy familiarity that then some of this kind of, was different in different ways, but I liked how they changed it up. I like the updating, if you will. So I was good with it and very pleased with it. And to me, I guess as I'm getting older, I want stuff that reflects the world and a society. And with all the due respect to Jack Kirby, it was from a white man's point of view. And to me, Eternals was, again, with the way they're approaching it, was is worldly, what I'm saying? And there would be all these different faces and aspects. So I love that culture really got integrated into this cinematic version that just made it, to me, beautiful. So with all due respect to Kirby, love what he did in the comics version of it. But this cinematic version just took it to another level. And I was very appreciative of it for me.
Yeah, I had no idea about, I take that back. I knew about the Eternals. I didn't know them like on a personal level, like which Eternal has which, power and all that. I just knew that there are Celestials out there in the Marvel universe, and every now and then they interact, and the Marvel characters have to deal with them. So I was very excited actually to learn about the Eternals, because this is going to be an interesting foray into these characters, and what better way to do it than in the MCU big debut, big movie. So I was very excited for that. I gotta say, when I left it, I was like, oh, okay. And then as I like thought about it more, I kind of was like, it's probably on the lower tier of Marvel movies for me, but still some enjoyable points or whatever. There were some pacing and things that I was just kind of like, I don't know that I get this, but it's in the MCU lexicon, so who knows? Sometimes a movie is not as great when I first see it, and then after that phase completes, it's like, oh, okay, that I did like that a lot more now that I have gotten more time with these characters and other movies and whatnot. So that's my initial thoughts on everything.
And that makes total sense. This is the start of the new phase. Technically, Spider-Man, which we won't talk about here, is the official start of the new phase. But this was the opening the door of phase 4. So just to go back a little bit more on the premise. So they all get back. The family needs to get back together in regards to the emergence, which is Ashram, who is the great celestial that sent them here to Earth, not Galactus. Not Galactus. He is the whole reason is you have to build up energy. Great beings need a lot of energy. That's science. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing is he wanted more humans to feed so that the new baby celestial seed would have energy and to grow and emerge and literally destroy the planet when he did this. So it is the Eternals. Sorry, guys, going to kind of speed through it. It's the Eternals' job to kind of fix this. To either they're supposed to let it happen, but the problem when you have been on a planet for 7,000 years is that you kind of fall in love with people. In theory, they've done it. We learned that this is like they have done this many thousands of times. So this is very surprising. Why is it this time? Why is it this time? And through that, we get to see some amazing growth from characters. We have Makari, who is the first official deaf superhero in the MCU. There have been hard of hearing characters. Of course, we have Hawkeye, but she is the first entirely deaf person who got to play a superhero. We also have Echo now. I'm sorry. But what was really cool about it is the cast learned sign language for her instead of her learning how to work with the team, which is wonderful. We had our first openly
beautiful. That was so dope.
It's so great. We have the first openly gay male character. Yeah. We've had a handful of gay females within the MCU. This is the first time we've had an openly made gay male character, and even more lucky, he's actually a character of color. We very rarely get that in film at all. Yeah. So with Fastos, we get him. And once again, it's as QUP said, we get a very diverse cast. This is the second Asian-led film in the MCU, but the first one with an Asian female. So did y'all feel like we finally got some, I know QUP mentioned a little bit, did y'all feel like we finally got some good voices in this?
I thought so. I dug it. I love that everyone had their moments, and to the credit, everything you said, and all their different quirks, if you will, if we're calling it a quirk. I'm sorry. But I just thought it was beautiful. The one, I'm not sure when we're going to get to it here and there, but Richard Madden is dreamy eyed, and like you said, with the people are going to fall in love, but I don't know if it felt very rushed to me. Mm-hmm. Was problem. Dane Whitman made sense. She was around with him for a while. You know, they got to, you know, they're out celebrating the birthday, but then he comes back into the picture, and I don't know, that just, again, we were getting it in flashback. So I think that's to its fault. They did have a longer time to connect, more so than Dane as a human, and that connection that they would have. But for me as a watcher, and I saw other people comment afterwards as well about that just no one, a lot of people, and myself included, didn't connect on how they connected, you know, on how Cersei and Icarus connected. And then I have to say, the first sex scene, let's bring that up too. The first sex scene we had in MCU, and kind of awkward because, you know, we all take our children to these films too. We're all about, and so luckily my daughter was schooled up enough. She knows about the birds and the bees, but I felt it did, if there was an edit that really we didn't need to see that. We knew they were falling in love. We didn't really need to see them in that 2 or 3 seconds naked embrace, even though we didn't see anything. And I'm not a prude like that. And again, I've taught my child about that, but it just seemed out of place though. Like it didn't help continue the story along. Like we already fell in love. So like, if you're going to have a sex sequence, that it moves the story. And to me, it just seem necessary.
Yeah. I felt like there was a lot of things kind of in this film that were kind of the same. There's a lot of, I feel like, show don't tell moments, and then a lot of the pacing I thought was a little bit off, and the sex scene, for example, was one of those moments where it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like it was interesting to see it in a Marvel movie, but then it just kind of felt like it slowed down the pace at the expense of some other things that might have been more evenly told. And I thought that, you know, for a long time, we're following characters and kind of trying to figure out like what's going on, and then having flashbacks. And I thought the flashbacks weren't necessary if you just tell the story chronologically as it happens. But of course, each director has their own idea of how they want to do things. I just thought the flashbacks kind of threw off the pacing. So now you're like, wait, are we back in this time? And now we're here. And you know what I mean? It kind of messed up the flow, I think, as it were. But I did think we had moments with each of the characters. The one thing that got me watching this was finger guns, man. I can't.
Yes,
I can't deal the finger guns.
Can we talk about the finger guns?
The finger guns bothered me. He's been on the planet for forever and a day, and it's just kind of a weird like finger guns, gotcha, baby bang.
That's how he does it. He does it this way.
He does it but he does it sideways, so it's real. That was just too much for me, and every time he did it, it took me out, and I'm like, oh, cool. He has a cool little power. He draws up energy, and then it's how does he disperse it? Like he could have did a little high five, or just flick it like a yo-yo or something. Just the finger gun thing. I thought
or Street Fighter style, like
Hadouken.
Hadouken.
But he did the Hadouken with finger guns, and that that was one that kind of messed me up. I've also would have seen who's it, Brian or David, what's his name? David Tyree? No.
You mean
David
Brian Tyree Henry?
Brian Tyree Henry, yes. I would have liked to see him a little bit more in it. I would have liked to him to have a little bit. I would actually like each of the Eternals to show a little bit more of themselves during this. Of course, Angelina Jolie's character in here was like asleep half the film too. So I had some problems with Eternals. I know other people had problems with Eternals. One thing I did like, I like how each of the characters had their own voice, even though they're trying to do a thing. Some of them were like, I'm kind of conflicted because I kind of agree with the bad guy, but also the good guy. So all in all, I enjoyed it. I had issues.
I can get that. One thing I will tag in though, when it comes to the sex scene, does seem a little bit off. It seemed a little forced no matter what. But when it comes to the love dynamics, one relationship that just is not talked about enough is I'm going to say this wrong, Madong Sek. Is that how you say it?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Angelina, he played Gilgamesh. Of course, we all know the story of Gilgamesh. And Angelina Jolie, who played Thena. That is probably the truest relationship of love in the entire MCU. And I loved that. That was probably the best sequence of events. How she got her memory back at the end. That's how she saved the planet. It's that dynamic was also a rarity for the MCU. You kind of have it hard and heavy, or you have just this broken relationship altogether, or you have a teenage love. You don't have this true love that the two of them had. And it was absolutely beautiful to see. I'm also
wanted more of that.
I know we do. We need. I'm also going to give a huge shout out to the best character in the entire film, Harish Patel, who played Karan.
Oh yeah, he was awesome.
The sidekick with the camera at any given point. He best standout character of the show. He was
getting them shots, right?
Yeah,
he was getting them shots.
He had those cameras. Yeah, he had them. No matter how many times we destroyed them, they were there.
He was pulling them out.
But okay, so we're at the point where we've talked about the characters. We're at the point of the immersion, and they stop it. Cersei is able to she literally hones up all of the energy that the humans have given the scene. They were able to stop it. Sorry, we're kind of jumping a little bit, but they were able to stop it. This leads, of course, to where we kind of we're at the same point in the universe where Wanda is now, she is breaking the madness. We have Spider-Man. He's currently destroying the universe in New York. And we also have, which one am I missing? We have Loki breaking the multiverse. And at the same exact time, in theory, we have the immersion of the Celestial being canceled in this universe. And that's where we really start. This is where the entire universe changes. Everything is going as it wasn't expected. And I'm gonna kind of lead us straight into the final scenes. We have two scenes. One we have with Harry Styles, no matter how mad we are at him. We have him as Eros, and of course we have that great moment with Pippin. And we have some great final moments where we see, what are you excited about? Are you, with how disappointed you were in the film, no matter how much you liked it, you had a level of disappointment. Are you excited to see these characters in the future as the Eternals? Because that's what they will be returning as.
I'll go. I enjoyed the film, and my wife and daughter absolutely loved the film. Just from a filmmaking standpoint, and like some of the issues I had with it, I think that they just had a lot to work with, and really, it's nitpicking because I wanted more of each. Another relationship that I'm really happy you brought up, the Gilgamesh one with Angelina. I'm trying to remember Athena.
Yeah.
Again, I'm with you on that one. That beautiful. Like that's what we all strive for real love. But another relationship too that I don't want to forget was the one that was between oh my gosh, I just had it a second ago.
Druid and
Makari.
Yeah.
I needed more of that too, to get that connection a little bit more. We got glimpses of it, but that also could have used a little bit of that sex scene time. You know what I'm saying? If we're trying to clean, I think that was all of our issues, that you have so many characters, they're here and there. I think it was still a brilliant film. I thought it was an amazing film in a different kind of Marvel film, which is what I want. I think we get a lot of cookie cutter Marvel films. I think it's refreshing to do something different. So shout out to Chloe Zhao, who kind of gave what she does in a Marvel film. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm ready for the next Eternals film, like you said, because that's what it'll be. I'm here for it. I just want more time to each, but I don't know if we need a longer hour span or if we need a mini series to break it up. I just want more time because there's so many characters. And I think it's difficult.
I think that's kind of the one thing that I would have said for this entire movie is it actually should have been one of the Marvel series. I thought it would have been way better served as that. You don't get 2 and 2.5 or 2 and some change hours with these characters. You get to see them over the course of 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours. And I think that would have really helped the story a lot, because you had a lot of things that were kind of, had to be forced in there. Like between Icarus and the little child one.
Pippin. Sprite.
Sprite. Yeah. Like, like that little love connection there. Like, that kind of came out of left field, I mean, they talked about it, and then all of a sudden it was like a major factor, which is okay. It worked in the movie, but I feel like, something like that, you get to see a lot more if you have a series as opposed to just the 2-hour movie that we got. But yeah, there's all in all, I thought it was fun. I'm interested to see some of these characters come back. I hope they're peppered throughout other films just a little bit here and there, so we could get a little bit more with them. I don't know that I want an Eternals 2. I don't think Marvel is going to give us an Eternals 2. I think it's going to be a one-off, and these characters are just going to show up throughout the MCU. That's my thought on them. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on the Eternals. I'm okay if they're just cameos from here on out.
Interesting.
Okay. I do want to tag this in because there are some people who are saying this. Marvel has confirmed we will not be seeing Richard Madden as a primary character. He might be in a flashback. Icarus is dead. He's gone.
That's what I'm glad
just
you
to
brought
confirm
that up.
that with anyone random, he is trigger warning for those who do not want to watch something with suicide in it. He does complete suicide when he goes into the sun. So we will not be seeing his character other than in flashbacks again.
I'm happy they confirm. Thank you for bringing that up, because I don't know who I was talking about with that. To me, I would have liked it if they brought him back. To me, I wanted him to commit the ultimate sacrifice.
He was done.
And again, trigger warning, suicide. But to me, that was a great ultimate sacrifice. To end his story.
Sometimes you need to go out with how you want to go out, and that's how he wanted to go out.
Yeah.
And we won't, I'm curious to see if we will see Sprite again. Since she no longer has her powers, she is now human. It's going to be kind of funny. I wouldn't mind seeing her like pop in, this 7,000-year-old teenager. She's going to be kind of fun.
Interesting.
So then when it comes to it, I'll say this, I love the galactic storyline. I'm glad that we're going to move into the multiverse. We're going to move into the galaxy, and of course that means Fantastic Four and Galactus, guys. Right? So let's see that cosmic. Let's see that power cosmic come in. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them tag in as Glenn said, with other characters. And I wouldn't, especially with the upcoming movies that are happening. I would not mind an Eternals 2, but I do want to see them move forward, potentially far away from this specific story. If they don't talk about their life on Earth anymore, I would be okay with it. Like, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Let's transition. Get them off. Like the ending, because they did leave it open-ended. Like, I want that story now. We introduced Eros. We introduced all these other characters. Now let's move on, get past that, and give us all that. And Dane, what can we talk about Dane Whitman and who is that talking?
I was just about to get to it, because the clear most important part of this film was the first post-credit scene, because the Eros was the second. All right. One of my, I obviously love the wacky and the crazy characters. I've literally been sitting here while I've been rebooting my phone, waiting for the Moon Knigget trailer to hit. But so what did we think about the sword?
Ooh.
So we know that at the end, Dane is trying to tell Cersei that his family has some really crazy back history, and the cutscene is he opens up the case and there's a sword.
It's the ebony blade.
Talk about what happened. Don't talk about the thing that happens after he opens the case. Don't talk about that yet. What do you think about the sword? I'm
psyched. It's got to be the ebony blade, and like, let's give it to I want our Black Knight now. Like, I want a Black Knight.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm not familiar that strong with the Black Knight character, but I'm very interested to see what's going on. I was most excited because the disembodied voice that we heard was Blade.
Breaking this, was spoiling it already, Glenn. I was about to say.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say let's talk about Black Knight first, but yeah, I know that's the
so has that been confirmed?
After.
Yeah. That's what I suspected, but is that where we have confirmation on that now?
They confirmed that is Blade, Marsha Ali calling out there. I was excited. I want to see what happens when he touches the blade, how he handles it, how he can wield it. But I can't lie and say anything about Black Knight or anything, because my focus was solely on that was Blade speaking.
Yes. And and that's the thing, is even if you weren't quite sure, because a lot of people were saying, was that Sam-El, or was that Nick, or was that Blade? Who was it? And the answer, they have, as Glenn said, they haven't officially announced. It is Blade's quote unquote first appearance. So we don't have Black Knight he's kind of an underworld character, but he's not, a vampire. So having him kind of walk in at this time is a little strange, but does this mean y'all are ready for some Blade? Are y'all ready for some vamp kicking action?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what he's going to do with Blade. Wesley Snipes already gave him. He said he's going to do great. He's excited. I hope we get a Wesley cameo in there.
That's what I'm saying too. I want a Wesley cameo. Give him another role.
I'm for it, man. I hope they do a good job with Blade, since Blade is kind of what saved Marvel Studios all those years ago. I hope they do justice by the character and allow him a large part in this upcoming phase. So I'm here for it. I'm ready.
So this, I know we're getting off topic here, but my last question. So one of the big things is Ryan Reynolds has mentioned that he wouldn't mind making a cameo again in a Blade movie. Do you think he's going to come in as his original character, or as a different character, or do you think he's going to? Do you think he's going to do? If Marvel brings him in, they're going to go full Deadpool.
Did his original character die in that Blade?
He does. He did die. Okay. But it's not like they couldn't bring it, or they couldn't bring a version or have him just cameo. But do you think he's going to cameo?
I'd hope. I would hope
you could do a multiverse thing, and I think that would be hilarious. Just a quick cameo, multiverse zombie version of that character, maybe killed.
I want him to go full Deadpool cameo. I want him to go. Full
I want a Deadpool cameo. Period in all of the Marvel films. I want that. That's of course. But if you're gonna do, because we got him cameoing with Green Lantern, he in Deadpool. Let's have him. You can bridge realities with that, and so hell yeah, give us his character from Blade and kill him.
We got a Superman cameo in Eternals, so yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Right,
good one.
Okay, well, so any final thoughts on Eternals or the ending credit scenes? Any final thoughts, guys?
I really enjoyed it, and for those, because we're doing this as part of our DVD release review. I don't know if y'all overheard when I was breaking it down. Those deleted scenes, I'm ready for that. And so just some of the additional features that's going to be in the behind the scenes specials that's going to be on this Blu-ray release as well. I want to see them learning sign to speak with Lauren Ridloff, right? Who played Makari. Some of that, just this had to be an amazing cast experience to work on this film. And so I'm ready for these behind the scenes that we're going to get with the Blu-ray release to just give us more of that information on how they put this together, because it had to be just an immense pleasure to work with everybody on this project. So, but yeah, overall films, I'm ready for an Eternals 2. It has its issues, but it was again an enjoyable experience. And then for this Blu-ray release, psyched to see how they put it together.
Ben.
I am going to disagree with Patrick. I am not excited for an Eternals 2. But I
all
thought
good, brother. All good.
I thought the movie was serviceable. It was all right. It was it has some interesting things and some concepts in there. I would like to see the characters continue on, individually, so we get a chance to kind of learn and know the characters a little bit better. But yeah, that's how I felt about it. And we'll see if I get what I want or Kuya P gets what he wants.
Well, I know we're all gonna get what we want. We're gonna get a Black Knight film. We're gonna get some Blade coming up. So Eternals is now on Disney Plus. If you haven't watched it yet, definitely do. I enjoyed it. It is a little bit rocky. Might not be good for kids. More for the content, not even for the sex scene. Some of it's a little confusing. But
sex has always been confusing for me.
No, you're a man. It's hard to find things. I know. But I looking forward to it. Glad we could talk through it too, especially since it came out and it kind of felt like it just came out real quick.
Yeah.
Looking forward and definitely looking towards the future. Excited to see more at MCU. So
absolutely.
Where can we find you guys? Glenn, where can we find you?
Levelupcomedy.com. Check that out. Level Up Comedy throughout all your socials. Glenn Levels Up, as well as Glenn Lawrence Comedy on IG. Glenn Levels Up is on Twitter. So that's where you can find me.
Kuya P.
All right. For me, Twitter, TikTok, and IG is the legend Kuya P. Over at the NRW and Annual Release Wednesday, of course, with these amazing group of folks and Chill Pal Show, where I talk about Filipinx content. There you go.
And I am Heather Hurt. You can find me on Twitter at NerdIsAHeather. I will be talking about Moon Knight coming up. So definitely follow. And you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok, the opposite, at Heather is a Nerd. And I will send it back to Kuya P to close this out. All
right, there you go. Eternals, Heather Hurt, Kuya P, Glenn Lawrence. That was fun. Let's yeah, man, Marvel, I'm all about it, man. That's it. I don't know what else to say. Heather, you could have closed it out too. It was all love.
Wanted to
until next time. I'm just like tweeting because as of this recording, we're super excited for the Moon Knight trailer because I want to do a breakdown with these folks and see them go through all the emotions. So we'll see.
Oh wait, did it just drop?
Yeah, well, we're waiting, bro. So let's close this out and we'll see, and hopefully we can reconnect and talk all about that. Eternals, y'all. Kuya P, Heather Hurt, Glenn Lawrence, we're out of here. All right.
We'll be right back.